From the second the story broke, the internet felt something shift because Jaguar Wright didn't just speak up this time. She detonated a bomb that nobody was prepared for. In one relentless live stream, she claimed she had uncovered something darker, deeper, and far more dangerous than any scandal hip-hop has ever faced. According to her, the real nightmare isn't the lawsuits, the raids, or the investigations surrounding Diddy. No, the real nightmare is what she says Diddy has been quietly storing, protecting, and weaponizing for decades. Jaguar Wright says, Diddy possesses tapes raw, unfiltered recordings, and among them is something so shocking, so volatile that even mentioning it sends fans into panic. Footage that allegedly involves Jay-Z footage that Jaguar claims Diddy has been using as leverage, insurance, and silent control. And if that is true, everything changes. She says these tapes aren't new. They weren't discovered recently. They've been sitting in a vault for years, guarded like state secrets, whispered about only by insiders who knew better than to speak openly. But Jaguar? She broke the silence. She said Diddy kept a collection of recordings that could collapse. The image of certain icons, and according to her, Jay-Z is one of them. The moment she said this, the internet exploded. Fans were stunned. Critics were horrified. Entire comment sections went silent, then burst into chaos. Because if Diddy really has tapes that could destroy one of the most powerful figures in music, if Jaguar really knows what's on them, if this footage ever reaches the public, the fallout wouldn't just shake hip-hop, it would tear through the entire entertainment industry like a wildfire that can't be stopped. But Jaguar didn't stop there. She said she knows why Diddy kept the tapes, and what he planned to do with them. And once you hear the details, you'll understand why people are saying this is the most dangerous allegation she has ever made. Long before Jaguar Wright ever mentioned the tapes, long before her voice sent shockwaves across social media, insiders whispered about something unsettling circulating behind the scenes of hip-hop's most elite circles. In dimly lit backrooms, closed-door meetings, and private industry gatherings, there were quiet conversations, rumors about recordings that were never meant to see the light of day. Recordings allegedly collected by Diddy, stored like trophies, or weapons, depending on who you asked. For years, these whispers were dismissed as conspiracy, exaggeration, or the kind of myth-building that tends to grow around powerful figures. But everything changed when Jaguar Wright stepped into the conversation. Because she didn't speak like someone repeating a rumor. She spoke like someone who had heard the fear in the voices of people who knew the truth. She spoke like someone who had seen the consequences of crossed boundaries. She spoke like someone with access not to the tapes themselves, but to the people who had been close enough to them to feel the threat hanging over their heads. Jaguar didn't ease into the allegation. She didn't tease it, soft-pedal it, or layer it with ambiguity. She went straight for the center of the storm. She said that among Diddy's alleged archive of tapes, there is material involving Jay-Z material that, according to her sources, was never meant to be viewed by the public, by the media, or even by most people inside the industry. Material that could, in her words, shift the power structure if it ever surfaced. This wasn't about petty drama. This wasn't about old grudges. This wasn't about the kind of rivalry people joke about online. This was about leverage. Raw, dangerous leverage. To understand the depth of this claim, you have to go back decades, back to the early days when hip-hop was exploding with innovation, ego, and hunger. Back when Jay-Z was carving his empire piece by piece, and Diddy was shaping Bad Boy Records into a monumental force. They weren't enemies. They weren't allies. They were kings building their kingdoms in parallel, sometimes intersecting, sometimes diverging, always aware of each other's influence. But behind the glitz, behind the awards, behind the empire building, something else was happening. Everyone close to the industry knew that Diddy had an obsession with control. The kind of control that extended beyond contracts, beyond business deals, beyond industry politics. An obsession with documentation, with keeping receipts. With filming, everything. With recording moments others assumed were private, harmless, or fleeting. The difference was that these recordings didn't disappear into nostalgia. They disappeared into a vault. Jaguar said this vault became legendary among insiders. You didn't ask about it. You didn't mention it casually. You didn't joke about its existence. Because the people who claimed to know about it spoke with a kind of fear that didn't require explanation. According to her, Diddy didn't just collect footage, he archived it. He cataloged it. He understood its value, its potential, and its implications. Which brings the story to Jay-Z. Jaguar claimed that one of the tapes allegedly connects Diddy to moments involving Jay that were never meant to be witnessed. Moments that, if true, could shatter carefully curated narratives, disrupt brands, and unravel alliances the public believes are unbreakable. She suggested that the tape wasn't simply incriminating. It was strategic. It was something Diddy, allegedly, kept not for entertainment or nostalgia, but for protection. And when she said that, everything shifted. Fans who initially assumed she was exaggerating suddenly began reconsidering. Journalists who brushed off her claims as theatrics began revisiting old interviews, resurfacing past tension between industry titans, analyzing statements that once seemed throwaway but now felt loaded with hidden meaning. Because if the tapes were real, the footage involving Jay-Z actually existed, then every alliance, every rivalry, every handshake between these two moguls carried a shadow the public never knew about. Jaguar's sources didn't describe the tape in detail. They didn't reveal scenes or specifics. But they revealed something even more unsettling. The reaction people allegedly had after seeing it tour, even hearing about it. She mentioned producers who looked shaken, executives who suddenly backed out of conversations, artists who refused to discuss certain topics when Diddy's name was involved. According to her, these tapes were not the kind of material someone could shrug off. They were the kind of material that silenced rooms, ended deals, and shifted power. And the deeper you go into the background, the clearer the pattern becomes. Jay-Z has built a career on calculated moves, on vision, on evolving past obstacles, on maintaining an image of discipline and control. He doesn't survive scandals, he avoids them. He doesn't respond to chaos, he rises above it. His brand is built on precision, on minimal vulnerability, on staying ahead of narratives. The idea that Diddy may have held something capable of undercutting that precision is what sent the internet into meltdown. Because if a man as strategic as Jay-Z had been forced to play chess with someone who had compromising footage, the implications were staggering. Jaguar didn't claim Jay knew about the tapes. She didn't suggest he was part of the recording process. She clarified repeatedly that she wasn't accusing him of filming, consenting, or participating knowingly. Her point wasn't about action, it was about exposure. About what happens when someone else holds power over the image you fought decades to perfect. People began digging through the history of Jay and Diddy's interactions. They noted every shift in tone, every distant interview, every subtle avoidance, every moment where respect felt more obligatory than genuine. They noted times when Jay was noticeably absent from Diddy's events, collaborations that almost happened but didn't, and interviews where Diddy praised Jay far more than Jay praised him. Fans started asking, was that distance intentional? Was it mutual respect or silent tension? Was the footage part of an invisible power dynamic? Jaguar fueled these questions by saying the relationship between these two moguls was never what it looked like. She suggested layers of pressure, hidden agreements, and unspoken boundaries. She said certain partnerships didn't happen because of fear, not strategy. At first, the idea seemed extreme. But the more people thought about it, The more the puzzle pieces aligned, the more timeline gaps made sense. The more subtle industry patterns became visible. Behind the scenes, according to Jaguar, the tapes were not a rumor, they were a reference. Point, a quiet threat, an unspoken insurance policy, and the terrifying part. She claimed Diddy wasn't the only one who knew about them. It's the only one who controlled them. If that is true, then the story isn't just about a tape. It's about power. It's about leverage. It's about how much influence a single recording can wield over one of the most powerful figures in music history. And this is where the conflict ignites. It's because what Jaguar revealed next made everything even more explosive. From the moment Jaguar Wright mentioned the tapes involving Jay-Z, the entire atmosphere surrounding this story changed. What had been whispery dreams suddenly evolved into something far more dangerous because the idea that Diddy might have kept recordings capable of destabilizing the image of one of the most influential men in music wasn't just shocking. It was destabilizing. It shook the foundation of an industry built on power, alliances, and fear. But the real conflict didn't begin when Jaguar spoke publicly. It began the moment one of her behind-the-scenes contacts reached out in a panic, warning her that she had touched something far more sensitive than what people think. That message, according to her, sounded like someone on the verge of a breakdown, someone who had seen the inside of Diddy's vault, someone who understood the stakes, someone who believed this wasn't just entertainment gossip. She described the voice as shaking, struggling to stay calm, urging her to understand that this wasn't like any allegation she had made before. And that's when the contact told her a chilling detail. The Jay-Z tape was not a rumor, it was real. And multiple people had seen parts of it. This was the moment the conflict ignited at full scale. Because if even fragments of the tape existed, that meant someone in Diddy's circle had watched it, analyzed it, and understood the power it could wield. And according to Jaguar, that tape was treated like classified and locked away, encrypted, guarded heavily. But here's where the story takes its first devastating twist. Jaguar said Diddy didn't just store the footage, he weaponized it. According to her, the footage became leverage, insurance, a silent threat used in circles where power wasn't negotiated, was enforced. And those who supposedly knew what was on the tape believed it wasn't just damaging. It was catastrophic. To grasp the conflict fully, you have to imagine the setting where this information was exchanged. Jaguar described being contacted through private channels, encrypted calls, and anonymous messages, sources terrified of leaving digital footprints. These were not random fans. These were insiders with access, with proximity, with knowledge gained from years of working around people who never expected their secrets to reach the public. They claimed the footage wasn't just a scandalous clip. It was a moment that revealed a side of Jay-Z the world had never seen, a moment recorded unintentionally. In a setting where cameras should not have been rolling, something that, if exposed, would raise questions not just about Jay, but about the environment surrounding him at the time, the people he associated with, and the decisions made behind the scenes of his early career. But the most explosive detail was this. Jaguar sources said the footage did not just show Jay implicated him emotionally, psychologically, or through association in a situation that would shatter the narrative he has maintained for decades. And that was enough for Diddy to keep it locked away indefinitely. When Jaguar asked why Diddy would hold on to something like that, one source allegedly told her because he knew one day he might need it. And that was the moment the story shifted from rumor to psychological warfare. To understand the magnitude of the conflict, you must imagine the early 2000s landscape. Jay-Z was rising fast, crafting a legacy that depended heavily on public perception, calculated moves, and strategic distancing. Diddy, already known for his obsession with documentation, understood the value of control in an industry filled with egos and ambition. If Jaguar's claim is true, the footage became Diddy's nuclear option, never shown, never discussed, never threatened openly, but always there, lingering like a shadow behind every interaction. And insiders whispered that Jay-Z knew there were recordings, but never knew the extent of what had been captured. That uncertainty was the real weapon. But this wasn't the only revelation Jaguar shared. The first real twist came when she revealed that one of her sources told her something even more disturbing. The tape you're talking about isn't the only one. This line broke the internet because it suggested a catalog, a library, a collection so vast that the Jay-Z tape was just a fragment of a larger archive of leverage and control. Jaguar claimed that Diddy had recorded countless encounters over the years. Some involving artists, some involving executives, some involving celebrities who had no idea they were being filmed. The vault wasn't Aramor, it was a secret weapon. But here's where the twist turns explosive. A former associate allegedly told Jaguar the Jay-Z footage wasn't stored like the others. It wasn't grouped with general material, it was isolated, protected, labeled differently, almost as if it held a higher level of strategic importance. According to her source, the folder containing the footage had an internal nickname, a code used by people close to Diddy, the crown piece. As soon as Jaguar shared that, everything escalated. Fans lost their minds. Critics called for investigations. Journalists began digging through years of interviews between Jay and Diddy, searching for tension they might have missed. But Jaguar wasn't done. She claimed someone from inside a major media company reached out to her after she spoke publicly, warning her that the footage was part of a larger pattern, one that involved blackmail, silent deals, and power shifts spanning more than a decade. According to this message, when Diddy realized Jay-Z's empire was outgrowing his own, the recording Jay might not have even known existed became part of a safety net. A key safety net in case their paths ever collided politically, financially, or legally. A safety net in case Jay ever threatened Diddy's influence. A safety net that, in Jaguar's words, was designed to keep Jay on a leash. That statement alone was enough to ignite a firestorm of speculation. But then Jaguar dropped the most devastating twist of all. One of her sources claimed that the tape wasn't secretly hidden anymore. It wasn't buried. It wasn't collecting dust. It had already been digitized. It had already been viewed by more than one person. And the wrong person might already have a copy. This twist changed everything. Because if someone outside Diddy's control had access to the footage, the power dynamic shifted instantly. The tape wasn't just leverage for Diddy anymore. It was a ticking time bomb for Jay-Z, and Jaguar claimed multiple parties were now holding pieces of the truth, each with their own agenda. That revelation didn't just escalate the conflict. It kicked open a door that no one was prepared to walk through. Because if the footage truly exists, and if copies are circulating beyond Diddy's reach, then the truth is no longer contained. It's dripping through cracks, reaching people who were never meant to see it, and turning one of hip-hop's most stable power structures into a fragile, unstable battlefield. And that's where the story's tension peaks. Because what Jaguar revealed next takes this drama into a territory nobody expected. The moment Jaguar Wright revealed that the Jay-Z tape might already exist outside of Diddy's control, the entire landscape of the story twisted into something far more volatile than anyone expected. This wasn't just about a secret vault anymore. This wasn't about a private stash of leverage held by one powerful mogul. This was about circulation, about a piece of footage quietly slipping into the hands of people who weren't supposed to have it. People with motives, people with grudges, people who understood exactly what this kind of material could do if it surfaced. And this is the moment when everything escalated beyond speculation, beyond gossip. because Jaguar claimed she received a second anonymous message, this time from someone she had never heard from before. Someone who, according to her, spoke with the confidence of a person who didn't fear backlash, lawsuits, or consequences. The message began simply, "You're not the only one who knows." That single sentence triggered a panic across social media. Fans froze. Comment sections blew up instantly. People started asking, who else knows? Who has the footage? How many copies exist? And what do they plan to do with it? Jaguar said the message continued with something even more explosive. "There are people waiting for the right moment. The tape is real, and what's on it isn't what anyone thinks." That one line changed the entire direction of the story, because up until that moment, the public imagined the footage as something scandalous, chaotic, incriminating in a straightforward tabloid sense. But now, with that message, the implication shifted. Whatever the tape showed wasn't just a compromising moment. It was something more psychological, more strategic, more damaging in ways that weren't immediately obvious. The mysterious messenger also claimed that more than one person had reviewed the footage. They said it had been analyzed. They implied that conversations were already happening behind the scenes between people with money, power, and long-standing influence. And then the message ended with a threat disguised as advice. Be careful who you trust. The tape isn't hidden anymore. It's in motion. Jaguar read that message aloud during her stream, and the internet nearly imploded. Users flooded the chat. What does that mean? Is someone trying to release IT? How many people have IT? Who sent that message? This is getting dangerous. But Jaguar didn't stop there. She said she had spoken to another source, someone who worked closely with a media conglomerate that allegedly attempted to acquire rights to a separate project involving Jay-Z years ago. According to this insider, there had always been whispers behind closed doors that certain footage existed. Footage so sensitive, it was considered off-limits. Even for negotiation, the insider described executives stepping out of rooms mid-meeting, whispering behind closed office doors, referring to the insurance material Diddy supposedly held. The implication was terrifying. Jay-Z's image wasn't just protected by talent, strategy, and business decisions. It was protected by silence, by fear, by knowledge that someone else held something too dangerous to challenge. But then, the shocking reveal arrived. Jaguar said she was contacted by someone who claimed to have actually seen a portion of the tape. Years ago, someone who described the contents in a way that shifted the entire narrative. According to this person, the footage didn't show Jay-Z participating in something illegal or violent. It didn't show him committing an act that could land him in court. No. What made the footage dangerous wasn't the action itself, but the context, the environment, the people present, the situation surrounding him, according to the alleged eyewitness. The recording captured Jay in a setting that connected him to individuals whose reputations were already tainted, beyond repair, individuals who later became associated with scandals, investigations, or dark industry dealings. The footage supposedly placed him in a social environment that would raise questions the public was never meant to ask. Not because Jay committed a crime, but because his presence alone could be interpreted, manipulated, or weaponized by the wrong people. This was the twist that rattled everyone. The tape didn't have to show wrongdoing, it only had to show proximity. And in an era where narratives destroy legacies faster than facts, proximity can be lethal. Jaguar said that this is why Diddy valued the footage. Not because it exposed a crime, but because it exposed a connection. A moment, a setting that could be twisted into a headline, powerful enough to destabilize a billionaire's empire. The source claimed the tape was shot unintentionally, filmed by Diddy's personal videographer during a private gathering where cameras should not have been rolling. It was never meant to leave the room. It was never meant to be archived, but it was. And once it entered Diddy's vault, it became part of a portfolio of leverage he quietly maintained over decades. But the escalation didn't stop there. Jaguar claimed she received another message, this time from someone tied to law enforcement. Not federal, not local. Someone in the middle. Someone who allegedly had knowledge of a sealed investigation related to private gatherings involving multiple high-profile figures. The message said, "We've heard about that footage. If it leaks, multiple agencies will get involved." Multiple agencies. That meant one thing. The footage didn't just hold power socially or politically, it held power legally. Fans immediately began speculating. Was the footage tied to an old case? Did it involve individuals who were already under investigation? Did it reveal a setting connected to previous allegations? Date. And then the second twist detonated. Jaguar said a high-level entertainment executive reached out anonymously and told her something chilling. The tape you're talking about isn't the original. The original is gone. Gone. Fans panicked. What did that mean? Destroyed, stolen, moved. But the executive clarified, the copy circulating now isn't version 1, it's version 2. Version 2. This meant someone had edited, trimmed, or altered the recording before it reached other hands. This meant someone curated what the world might eventually see. This meant someone was preparing for a controlled leak. Instead of a chaotic one, the executive warned Jaguar that the existence of multiple versions meant multiple agendas. Diddy's leverage may no longer have been unique. Jay-Z's vulnerability may no longer have been contained. The tape had become a weapon with no single owner. And according to the executive, at least 3 different parties were now suspected to possess some version. A former bad boy insider, a media archivist who left the industry under mysterious circumstances, and a powerful investor rumored to have old ties to both. Jay-Z and Diddy ties the public doesn't know about. Jaguar read this message live. Fans were stunned. Some believed her immediately. Others insisted she was being fed false information. But one thing was clear. The escalation was complete. The Jay-Z tape was no longer a rumor. It was a network. A circulation. A threat with multiple hands on the trigger. And then Jaguar said one final sentence before ending her stream. The next leak won't come from Diddy's vault. It'll come from someone who wants both of them exposed. The internet exploded. Because that revelation didn't just introduce conflict, it promised war. The moment Jaguar Wright ended her last stream after dropping the bomb that the Jay-Z tape was already circulating beyond. Diddy's control the internet didn't just explode. It fractured. Every social media platform turned into a battleground, flooded with theories, arguments, insider claims, fake screenshots. Real screenshots, doctored videos, and panicked live streams from creators trying to keep up with developments that shifted every hour. People weren't just talking, they were investigating, they were accusing. They were terrified. Because Jaguar hadn't just suggested a secret existed, she confirmed. A network of secrets was already in motion. Twitter X turned into a digital riot. Within minutes, hashtags blasted across the world. Hashtag Jay-Z tape leak, hashtag Diddy vault, hashtag footage in circulation, hashtag industry blackmail files, hashtag Jaguar Wright. Bombshell, millions of posts poured in within a few hours. People from every corner of entertainment, commentary, conspiracy communities, hip-hop culture, and investigative journalism weighed in on what this leak meant. Some users were convinced this was the beginning of a major industry collapse. If what Jaguar is saying is even half true, this is the biggest scandal hip-hop has ever seen. Others tried to dismiss it, but their dismissal sounded shaky, forced, nervous. Jay-Z is too powerful. Diddy wouldn't hold leverage like that. It doesn't add up. But the counters came instantly. Power doesn't remove fear. Leverage is leverage? If Diddy kept tapes on everyone else, why wouldn't he keep one on Jay? People weren't just speculating anymore. They were connecting decades off behavior, interviews, collaborations, and feuds through a new lens. Then came the celebrities. It started subtly. A rapper who once toured with both Diddy and Jay tweeted, "History has receipts we never asked to see." Another artist wrote, "The silence around certain people is not accidental." A producer who once worked on a bad boy project posted, "Trust me, nobody is ready for what's buried in that vault." Fans noticed something strange. Not one major figure close to Jay-Z or Diddy denied Jaguar's claims. No statements. Number? Clarifications, no dismissals. Just silence, and in the vacuum of silence, speculation multiplied. Then, out of nowhere, a well-known journalist hinted that their publication had been aware of rumors regarding archived footage for years, but had never been able to verify the claims. This revelation sent fans pealing. It suggested that the tape wasn't a wild conspiracy, was a known whisper. The kind everyone heard, but nobody wanted to acknowledge. TikTok creators went into overdrive. Videos broke down old award show footage, moments where Jay seemed tense. Around Diddy, photos where they stood apart, rumors of deals that never materialized. Creators slowed down interviews, analyzing facial expressions, searching for micro-reactions, mistrust, discomfort. Avoidance.one creator posted a comparison montage showing every time Jay-Z seemed to strategically distance himself from Diddy. After 2008, the video went insanely viral, reaching millions of views within hours, with comments like, "Was he avoiding Diddy because of the tape? Did Jay know the footage existed?" This changes everything. Reddit forums became unhinged. Entire threads dedicated to dissecting the history between these two moguls turned into sprawling investigative boards. Users dug through decades-old articles, backstage photos, rumored altercations, secret meetings, and social connections. Some claims were outlandish. Others were chillingly plausible. One user wrote, "If multiple people have the tape now, it's only a matter of time before someone leaks it, whether intentionally or by accident." Another responded, "This isn't about Diddy versus Jay. This is about who stands to gain from the leak." That became the central question. Who wanted the footage out? Who benefits from exposing both Jay-Z and Diddy? Theories emerged rapidly. A billionaire competitor, a rival label, a disgruntled former insider, a political figure trying to neutralize, powerful cultural influencers, or someone seeking revenge for past industry actions. Instagram gossip pages posted alleged insider confirmations that multiple entertainment lawyers had been contacted overnight. Some pages claimed that Jay's team was already aware of a potential leak. Others claimed that Diddy's inner circle was scrambling to track down who possessed the copies. But the most disturbing revelation came from a major gossip account with millions of followers, which posted a cryptic message. There were 3 versions of the tape. Only one was under Diddy's control. Fans demanded answers, but the account deleted the post within minutes. The deletion only fueled more panic. Journalists attempted to reach out to Jay-Z's representatives for comment. Nothing. Diddy's team also declined to respond. Nothing. From either side, the silence felt strategic. Like both camps were bracing for something far bigger than speculation. Meanwhile, Jaguar Wright continued adding fuel to the fire. She hinted that she knew why the tape was recorded, how it was obtained, and who helped secure copies beyond Diddy's reach. She said the tape was never supposed to leave that house, implying a private residence was involved. Not a studio, not a venue, a home. Fans went insane over that detail. Whose house was Jay invited Was Diddy recording guests without permission? Who leaked the footage? Theories multiplied like wildfire, but nothing ignited the public more than the idea that a version of the tape was intentionally edited version to end, that it was this version circulating among underground networks, platform DMs encrypted, channels, and possibly foreign servers. A YouTube commentator claimed to have spoken to someone who heard audio connected to the footage, stating, "Whatever's on that tape isn't just embarrassing. It's historical. Confirms alliances and cover-ups nobody wanted revealed." People couldn't process what that meant. Historical alliances, cover-ups with Jay-Z involved. The reactions grew more frenzied. Fans begged Jaguar to release even a blurred screenshot. Others warned her to stay safe. Some believed she was already under surveillance. Some believed her streams had mysterious interruptions because someone was attempting to suppress her. But then came the one thing nobody expected. A small, newly created Twitter account verified, anonymous posted, "We have the tape. It doesn't belong to Diddy anymore. It's going public." The post was deleted within 60 seconds, but screenshots spread instantly across the internet. Every platform caught fire. Some claimed it was fake. Others insisted it matched details from Jaguar's earlier claims. No one knew whether the account was real, a hoax, a troll, or an insider signaling something catastrophic. But the impact was immediate, and the entertainment industry felt it hard. Producers canceled meetings. Labels held emergency calls. Attorneys began drafting statements just in case. Publicists went on standby. Executives demanded crisis management protocols. And rumor has it major streaming platforms paused several pending projects related to either Jay-Z or Diddy, waiting for clarity. The public didn't just react, they prepared. Because if the tape exists, and multiple people have it, the leak is inevitable. And the moment it drops, nothing in hip-hop, entertainment, or pop culture will ever look the same. Everything reached a boiling point the moment that anonymous account claimed to have the tape. Screenshots spread faster than any official news outlet could react, faster than any PR team could suppress, faster than any celebrity could issue a denial. The internet wasn't just buzzing, it was shaking, vibrating under the weight of collective anticipation and fear. People knew something was coming. They could feel it. They could taste the tension in the air. But nobody knew how close the storm actually was. Jaguar Wright had gone silent for several hours. No live streams, no posts, no voice messages, nothing. For someone who had been speaking non-stop, feeding the public shocking revelation after shocking revelation, that silence felt ominous. It felt strategic. It felt like she had reached a point where every word mattered. Then, without warning, Jaguar returned with a live stream notification that instantly drew tens of thousands of viewers. People didn't even have time to grab their headphones. They clicked, they rushed, they swarmed in. And when Jaguar appeared on screen, her expression told the whole story, calm, but carrying something heavy, something final. She began by saying she had received another message. Not a public one, not from a burner account, not from a troll pretending to have insider information. This one, she said, came from a person who had verified access to one of the circulating versions of the tape. A person who, according to Jaguar, had nothing to gain by lying and everything to lose by being involved. She read the message slowly, word for word. The tape is not the problem. The truth behind it is. The chat exploded. What truth? Whose truth? What was behind the footage? Jaguar continued reading. What the world thinks it will see on that tape is not the reason it was kept hidden. It was hidden because of the conversation that happened 15 minutes after the recording. That sentence sent the live stream into a frenzy. 15 minutes after, there was more than just the clip. Was there audio? A confession? A deal? A threat? Jaguar looked into the camera and said that the source described the aftermath of the recording as more damning than the footage itself. According to this insider, the camera wasn't turned off when the event ended. It kept recording. It captured voices. It captured a conversation in the aftermath, one that allegedly revealed alliances, strategies, and arrangements involving high-level players the public has never connected to either. Jay-Z or Diddy. Jaguar said the insider didn't give names. They didn't describe the full details, but they said one chilling sentence that made her stop everything. If the tape leaks, Aziz, it's bad. If the audio leaks, it's catastrophic. That's when people in the chat began to panic. Comments flew across the screen in real time, faster than her software could keep up. What audio? Is Jay on IT who is talking in the background? What are they hiding? This is bigger than a scandal. Jaguar continued, explaining that the insider claimed the original recording wasn't just visual. It contained background conversations that revealed power dynamics, so dangerous that even those who have copies aren't sure whether releasing it is worth the fallout. She said the insider warned her that multiple high-ranking individuals, not from Music, are monitoring any discussion of the tape. She said that people with power, real power, are already panicking behind the scenes. Because the footage exists, but because the wrong version might leak. A version that includes the 15-minute aftermath. Jaguar paused for a long moment before continuing. And then she dropped the twist that made even her viewers go silent. Someone is trying to leak the audio, not the footage. Not a blurred clip, not a screenshot. The audio. She said she had been told by the insider that an individual not connected to Diddy, not connected to Jay, not connected to Jaguar has possession of a portion of the aftermath recording and is planning to leak it anonymously. This person reportedly believes that releasing the audio will correct decades of corruption and expose the real hierarchy controlling the industry. Jaguar didn't say the person's name. She didn't reveal their identity. She didn't even hint at their background. But she said the insider told her that this person isn't afraid of lawsuits, threats, or retaliation. According to Jaguar, the insider said, they aren't doing this for revenge. They're doing this because they want to watch everything burn. Chat went silent. You could feel the air shift. Jaguar explained that if the audio leaks first, it will frame the footage in a way that destroys reputations before the visuals even hit the internet. It will force people to answer questions no one ever expected to ask. It will expose ties that even the most loyal fans never imagined. And it will pull names into the spotlight that have been protected for decades. Then Jaguar revealed the final bluff. The reason she believes the audio leak is imminent. She received the same message twice from two different anonymous sources. Same wording, same warning, same countdown. The message said, within 72 hours, everything changes. The live stream chat imploded. People begged her to clarify. They asked if she believed it. They asked if she knew who the leaker was. They asked if she thought the world was ready for what was coming. Jaguar said she didn't know the exact timeline. She couldn't confirm whether the 72 hours was literal or symbolic. But she did know one thing. Someone wants this out, and it's not the people you think. She ended the live stream with one final haunting line. When the audio drops, the footage won't matter. The truth will. And with that, the screen went black. The countdown had unofficially begun. Before this video ends, take a breath, because what you've just heard is only the beginning. The story surrounding these tapes, the aftermath audio, the people allegedly involved, and the silent forces trying to control the narrative, this isn't ending tonight. It's unfolding in real time, and every hour brings a new twist, a new leak, a new whisper from behind the scenes. And when information moves this fast, you do not want to be the person who hears about it last, right now. I need you to drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me exactly what you believe is happening. Do you think the audio is real? Do you think multiple versions of the tape are floating around? Do you think someone is preparing to leak it, knowing the fallout it will cause? Or do you think this is the biggest coordinated cover-up the entertainment industry has ever seen? Your voice matters. Here, this community has been piecing the truth together faster than mainstream outlets. And your theories might connect the dots nobody else has noticed yet. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that button. This story is moving too fast, too dangerously, and too unpredictably for you to miss a single update. When that audio leaks, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, or in the next 72 hours, you better believe we'll be breaking it down frame by frame, word by word, and exposing every layer they've tried to keep hidden. Turn on all notifications so you're the first to know when the next episode drops. Because the moment even a fraction of that audio hits the internet, you're going to see a chain reaction unlike anything this culture has ever witnessed. Reputations will collapse, alliances will fracture, secrets will surface. And the truth, no matter how deep they buried, it will force its way out. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Tag your friends. Spread the conversation. Let the world know that the countdown has already started. Because once the next leak hits, there's no going back.